it's your girl AyChristene, and today we are checking out Jaiden Animation's video. This is My Birds Laid Eggs. Uh, hmm, hmm. All right, is she a grandma? Do when they lay eggs, it's with intention, right? They're gonna, because they don't lay. I know chickens can lay eggs that we can just eat. Sound very horrible when I just said it, but do other birds do that? We're gonna find out. Links down below to become a member or patron, support the channel. Let's get started.
Oh, it's been a while since I've had a story to tell, but I have a story to tell, and
Oh,
it's
dear.
because my birds accidentally laid eggs together without my consent. Okay, so let's back
Oh,
up.
okay,
I'm
so
sure
they-
the majority of you know this guy right here.
Uh-huh.
Ari. Classic
Ari.
piece in the Jaiden Animations lore. If you don't know him, you don't know me. I keep Ari in his own room because he destroys literally anything if he has access to it. In a way, you could call it a containment room. But when I'm not around to give him attention, I wanted to make sure he has a friend around and isn't
A little
just
friend.
sitting there all alone and pitiful-like. So back in October 2019, I got Tofu, which, oh my god, I'm just realizing is much longer ago than I thought.
Yeah,
Tofu,
yeah, yeah.
I thought you were still just a baby. She definitely isn't as well known as Ari, but we're talking about her now. I was so nervous back when Tofu first arrived because I obviously hadn't gotten any other pets before, and it was really important that she and Ari actually
Not him with those muscles.
Birds can be pretty particular, and some
they can
flat out hate each other for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
Some sort of bird drama or something.
My
I was worried
aunt
my birds were
has
gonna mean
birds.
girls each other, and then suddenly I'd have two singular birds, which then doubles
instead
my
of
original problem. I
yes,
went through the typical process you're supposed to do to introduce them, keep them in separate areas for a bit, let them kind of see each other, slowly introduce them in small doses, and suddenly they were best friends. I was so happy. Plan B of having to get 4 birds was now not necessary. So right. Everything was going according to plan. I have 2 birds that can keep each other company when I'm not around. Nothing could possibly go wrong when there's a pair of animals that get along very well. It was a peaceful, happy 3 years of 2 birds who were besties until this past spring where everything went wrong. How could this happen? I walked into the birds' room to give them their morning food, and on their dresser, I find 3 tiny little eggs. Uh-oh. And by the way, when I say tiny, I mean you would be shocked to see how small bird eggs can be. These things are the size of a quarter. Some of you may be thinking, Jaiden, why is this a bad thing? Jaiden, it's the gift of life. This is a beautiful moment of miracles. Okay, sure, but actually, no. First of all, I would have been surprised. Birds, especially fragile little fresh out the egg
baby
ones.
birds?
Remember when I was worried I'd have to get 4 birds if Ari and Tofu didn't like each other?
And
why
apparently
am I experiencing the same dilemma again? 2 birds is already enough. Especially since one
3
of them
more
has devoted his entire life to being a full-time bastard. Anyone who has a gremlin pet understands that
he's definitely
is
a
equal to,
gremlin.
like, 3 pets worth of energy. It's a lot to handle at all times, and if my pet gets any more full, I'll unlock alcoholism. Second of all, this is now my problem that I need to handle ASAP.
Right. What do you do about?
Oh, I'm busy right now. I'll deal with it later. No, procrastinating would only lead to possible hatching.
And
not 100%, but there's a chance I'll get to that
death.
later. Which leads back to my prior statement that I've stated multiple times at this point of I don't want more birds. Immediately, I was like, how did this happen? I've been preventing them from laying eggs together for so long. What changed?
Yeah,
Unlike
it's been
cats
a
and
while.
dogs, birds can't really be neutered, at least not easily. You could give them like monthly hormone shots, or there's other stuff. But it's just really complicated. And you're better off simply making sure their environment is set up in a way to discourage nesting and egg laying behavior. There's a few things you can do to prevent it, but to sum
don't
things
put a
up,
nest.
basically don't let the birds nest. If they find a dark little hidey hole, they'll start treating it like a nest and get hormonal, and suddenly you've got eggs. No nesting, for the most part, no problem. I looked around the room and was so confused. All they had in there were their cages, climbing tree, and a drawer I bought to hold all their bird stuff.
But
and
they
the eggs
had
were just on the top of the drawer, too. Not even in a safe burrow,
not in like a
place.
nest
One had already
area.
rolled off the side and cracked open on the floor like an omelet. Tofu, this is not even close to motherly instincts. After
my
a bit of
goodness.
snooping around, I pulled the drawer back from the wall to realize Oh my god.
What?
These birds have been secretly burrowing into the back of this drawer
Are
like they were plotting a prison
serious?
escape. Somehow, Ari and Tofu squeezed their tiny bodies in between the drawer and the wall and started chewing the back of it to get into the drawers from behind. They literally gnawed through it like the nematodes in SpongeBob.
Oh
you
my
all the
gosh.
on the floor. Well, here's a picture, but it doesn't do it justice. It looked like a construction site and smelled like Home Depot. Suddenly it made sense. They were nesting inside there. Nest. Whenever I was in the room, they were out and about. Hi, Mom, please give us seeds. Nothing nefarious is going on.
Nothing nefarious.
And boom, straight to the forbidden nesting drawer they go. Criminals. As I'm connecting the dots on how we got to this point, I realized I don't even know which one of these knuckleheads even laid the eggs. When I got Tofu, I made sure she was a girl. A little lady. I talked to one of my bird knowledgeable friends when I was considering getting another, and she recommended a female bird because there was a higher chance Ari would get along with her more than a male bird. So right. Because
they wouldn't have that whole like
certified. However,
dominating an area.
When I got Ari, I never got him/her checked. Green cheek conure genders can only be confirmed through DNA tests, and there wasn't really any important reason to know Ari's gender at the time, so I just didn't. Over the years, I've just started calling him my big man because of the way he acted and behaviors he displayed felt very obnoxiously masculine, but it was always more of a gut feeling above anything else. But I am now facing a possible reality.
It takes the two of them.
I've had for 7 years that I've been headcanoning as male could have been female this whole time and is the potential mother of these confusing eggs. Because,
wait, really?
Birds don't need a male around to lay eggs. Think about it like chickens. They just be
but hatchable, but they have to be... Because a chicken can lay eggs that are not, that wouldn't grow into, that are not, is it germinated? Is that the word? That don't have no sperm. Okay, we just gonna have to say what because I don't, the proper term is not coming to mind. Maybe it is germinated. Maybe that's a word that I made up. But anyways, the egg without sperm is what we eat. We be eating, like, let's say you were to, let's not say what I was about to say, including what our eggs, if you were to just, let's not go there. But, okay. Yeah, the chicken eggs that you eat are not, they don't have sperm in it. There's a proper term, insert term down below in the comment section. But and that's the thing, I wasn't sure about but I wasn't sure if pet birds have that same thing, but I guess all birds would have that same thing. They could just lay eggs. So the dilemma I get, now they wouldn't be hatchable if they're, right? Am I right or wrong? Someone clarify, because I remember learning, hence I did go to school in Florida. I remember learning that that chickens can lay eggs, and the ones that don't have sperm are the ones we eat. That farmers will, have the rooster get with the chickens to create eggs, to create more chickens, but then you have the non-sperm eggs. That is what we eat. You get me? You follow me? Is it mathing? Is it mathing? And then, so I get that for regular birds. Of course, the birds are birds. So, chicken's a bird, bird's a bird. Okay, let's not start that. But I don't think that regular birds would, be able to produce life without the eggs having sperm in it to create another bird. I think they just laid eggs as birds do. Let me know. I will say I am not an expert in birds. Period. I'm just sharing what I learned, and you can let me know politely what's correct down below.
Out the wazoo without a rooster in sight. They don't care. Boom, egg. If it's a girl bird, that thing can lay eggs whether you or a male bird wants it to or not.
Oh,
so
dear.
In this situation, Ari possibly being a girl is the thing that's blowing my mind the most. But
that's also
one quick peek at their little bird booty hole swiftly gave me the answer. It was definitely Tofu. If
okay,
you know, I'm just saying, laying 3 eggs a quarter the size of your whole body biologically does something to you. Anyway, I immediately booked a vet visit for Tofu. Laying eggs drains birds of their calcium and overall health, so I wanted to make sure she was generally okay. The vet took a look at her and was like, she looks fine, she's acting fine, we'll give her some vitamins, but she's still got more eggs in her.
What?
Tofu, how many of those things you're gonna cook up? Also, we gotta limit this whole ordeal to as minimal as possible, please.
Right,
because that bill was not fun. We can't be making this a routine occurrence. It's
right,
no mystery laying eggs can also be pretty dangerous for birds. There's a chance it could get stuck and the bird just dies.
Oh my gosh!
I really didn't want that to happen. So every egg meant an extra mountain of stress and anxiety for me.
Oh my gosh.
The vet told me conures typically lay eggs every other day, so once she goes a few days without laying any, then I can come back and get her another checkup to really make sure she's all good. So I let time pass, and in total, Tofu ended up laying 8 freaking eggs.
8?
It's not supposed to lay that many. Normally conures lay clutches of like 4 or 5.
What?
So she basically laid 2 birds worth of eggs. I don't
my goodness
know what to do. But all right, she's finally done. We can now move on to the second step in the what to do when your bird lays eggs.
I gotta know. Right, without your permission.
The eggs for fake ones. If I just yoink Tofu's eggs away, she's gonna be like, what the my eggs? Dude, what the hell? I just laid those. And she's biologically programmed to start laying more to replace them. Luckily, my friends Jordan and Kelsey had some fake conure eggs because coincidentally, their bird laid eggs like 6 months prior to Tofu. So they already went through this process and were definitely supplying me with
that is
support.
wild. I never
eggs,
knew this.
Swapped them out and perfect. Tofu is now trying to be a mother of 8 balls of plastic. After a few weeks of them not hatching, she'll move on, forget all about them, and everything will return to normal. It was a successful heist, as in I gave them both treats, stole all their eggs right in front of them, and they did not notice. You might be realizing, even though Tofu's eggs won't hatch, I still am in possession of actual real bird eggs that may or may not be fertilized.
Fertilized. That's the word. That's the word.
He could also be the father. We don't know. Big drama. Are you the father? More like, is there even a father? After consulting with the vet and various bird resources, I basically had to make sure no birds could start growing in them just in case. Even though it's very likely they were just empty little chicken eggs, we couldn't run the risk. By the various resources aforementioned, I was given a few options. I was told I could smash them, which felt a tad bit too violent for me. Are these your little eggs? The first eggs you've ever laid in your life?
Oh! My gosh!
Absolutely not.
No,
I could freeze them. Just put them in a little container, pop them in the freezer, and there you go. But the last option, which sounded the most insane in my opinion, was to boil them. Make tiny little boiled eggs. Why does that one sound the most deranged and psychopathic? I know people consume all types of bird eggs all over the world, but boiling my own conyers eggs just feels way past the line in mental sanity. So I popped them in the freezer to hang on to whatever humanity I had left after
right.
And they've been there ever since. I still have them. I'll go to grab a popsicle and be like, oh, hello, tofu eggs. I don't know. Even though they won't hatch, they still feel special. They're my little baby tofu's little baby eggs. I don't want to just throw them away like they're nothing. I'll just keep them in my freezer forever because that's somehow the most sane option I was given. Some people
out
might
of the
be
three,
like, Jaiden, you should have tried to let them hatch. But you do not understand. I am definitely not qualified to raise baby birds. I promise this was
I get that. I'm gonna jump in here because I feel like this is the same situation when people are like, oh, when are you gonna have kids? When you know, like talking to people and implanting the thought and idea of kids on other people. And when people say that they do not want kids or are not ready for kids, and then those people are like, you should still have them anyways. Like, what? Are you serious? No. If someone feels like they're not ready for kids or do not want kids, they should not have kids. It's, plain and simple. Okay. So even though for me, if this were me, I wouldn't want to stop the life of the birds that were possibly being born. But if you are someone that absolutely does not want to take care of baby birds, because I'm sure that's hella stressful, or you don't feel capable of taking care of baby birds. I think no one should have any problems with what she did. She said, I can't, I don't want to. And she just put them in the freezer, called it a day. She didn't smash them, which would have been wild. She didn't she didn't boil them, which would have also been very wild. Like smashing them is wild, but it's like hit done. Boiling them takes time. You have to boil the water, you have to put the eggs in there, and you have to wait for that to boil down. That's way more time of a slow death than just smashing them. So that's why it seems worse. But that being said, I feel like no one should be shading her. I don't know if she is getting shaded. I hope she isn't, but it is the internet and people are crazy. I stand by her decision, okay? I would have helped them live if they were me, but since that is not what she wants or what she said she's capable of doing, I stand by her decision. I back her up.
Thing to do for everyone.
Not that she asked that.
For the eggs.
Yeah.
For Ari and Tofu. God knows Ari would have been an awful father.
Oh, dear.
Or mother. So that's what I've been
not
dealing
or
with
mother
over the past few months. Tofu's fine now. She's essentially
that's
back
good.
to normal. I have since removed the secret nest drawer they have claimed. I'm sure they weren't too happy about that one, but hey, you reap what you sow. People will tell me, oh, you're the reason I want a bird. And I always think to myself, man, that's unfortunate. The majority of people are not suited to own a bird. Case one, they can cut through furniture like chainsaws.
Yeah,
Case
they're
two,
crazy.
They can lay eggs and curse you to put them in the freezer like the egg murderer you are.
Right.
Or worse,
oh, gosh.
With all my heart. But if anyone ever asks me if they make good pets, I turn into the biggest hater. And if you're a good bird owner, you'd probably agree with me. Birds are beautiful, intelligent, loyal companions. But they're also nice tornadoes who can force you to question your own mortality as you spend a fortune on vet bills.
Thanks for watching. Hey, by the way, do you want to see me in person in the flesh? James, Ross, Dom, Aaron, and I are all going back on tour again. Imagine going to a funny improv drawing comedy show, but there's no children. And I swear, live on stage, right in front of you. That's right, if you're 18 plus, you should grab tickets to our Scribble Showdown After Dark show. Check out...
Oh, they have a Scribble Showdown After Dark. Okay, yeah. I definitely want to check that out. And I got to check out this video. I came and tried Genshin Impact. I want to check it out. They came to Orlando, I think the last tour, but I didn't get a chance to see them. I want to see them this time that they come. I got to see if they're even coming this way. I got to look. I'm going to look to see, and then I might get some tickets. And if I do, I'll definitely let you guys know because it'll be really cool. It'll be really, really cool. But that aside, listen, I stand by her decision. Like I said before, I can attest that birds are like pets in general. People think like, oh, pets are great, but it's like having a child. It is very much like having a child, and in different ways, and each pet is different. I do feel like a lot of pets come with their own set of issues. I had 2 cats. One of my cats passed away. I don't know. Did I ever tell you guys? One of the cats passed away? Yeah, one of the cats passed away last December. But I remember the beginning years where I was like, I feel like maybe I should just open the door and just let them run out. Because it was a lot of things, especially if you grew up with pets, then you're like attuned to it. So when you get your own, when you're an adult, you're like, oh yeah, I remember a lot of this stuff. No, I didn't grow up with pets. My mother and my father did not have pets. My aunt had birds though. I remember those suckers. I remember she took a picture of them, put it in their cage, and then they ate through that. Because like when she would let them out, they would like act up, and she lived with my grandmother. She was not allowed to let them out their cage. And I remember this weird activity. She had 2 parakeets. One of them would gyrate on a bowl that was in there. And she would make this sound. And I, to this day, feel like she was doing one thing, but still not sure if it was possibly something else. Because it's unforgettable, okay? The visualization, okay, of a bird seemingly humping a bowl, you just never forget. And it wasn't a one-time thing. It was just kind of a little frisky bird. But yeah, listen, I will, if my daughter's like, hey mommy, I want a bird. No, I'm not doing it. I am not doing it. So I get you wholly and completely. Just like with kids, I was like, oh, I want kids. I had kids. And then when people were like, oh, talk about kids, I'm like, listen, make sure you're ready. Okay. You gonna read all the books and never be ready. But don't just do it because other people say it, because it ain't an easy thing. Just pop out a kid and then be like, yeah, we're parents. It's amazing. Nah, bro. Mm-mm. But let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Do you have birds? Do you have kids? Do you have pets? Okay. Fill me in on the bird details. Okay. I need to know some details down below. About the questions I had asked earlier. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you guys so much for your love and support. I hope you guys have an amazing Christmas holiday or Kwanzaa holiday or whatever holidays that you celebrate during this time of year, because there's like a gazillion, right? I hope that you have a wonderful holiday, whatever it may be. And yeah, I love you guys as always. And until next time, buddies. Toodles!